In September 917, off the coast of the Black Sea, one of the most grandiose and bloody battles in the history of medieval Europe took place. A huge Byzantine army, supported by an ambitious plan for an international coalition, faces Bulgaria, whose sole goal is the destruction of Tsar Simeon and the collapse of the Bulgarian state. Faced with a more numerous enemy, surrounded by threats from all sides, the Bulgarian ruler makes a decision that will change the fate of the Balkans. This is the story of the Battle of Anchialus, the battle that made Bulgaria the master of the peninsula and went down in history as the Battle of the Century. The last decade of the 9th century brought serious changes in the balance of power in Southeast Europe. The transfer of the Magyars to Pannonia, the decline of Great Moravia, and the intensification of Pecheneg pressure towards the Danube created an entirely new military-political environment in which the conflict between Bulgaria and Byzantium developed. After the two countries managed to maintain peace between them, during the time of Prince Boris and the conversion of the Bulgarians, the accession of Simeon marked a new stage in the escalation of tension between them. In the year 894, Bulgaria and Byzantium began a massive and exhausting war for the right of Bulgarian merchants to use the markets in Constantinople. Simeon emerged victorious and took the initiative to attack Byzantium. The first 15 years of the 10th century witnessed constant Bulgarian campaigns in Thrace, culminating in reaching Constantinople in 1913, when Simeon claimed for himself a royal title equal to that of the Byzantine Basileises. The cunning diplomatic game of Patriarch Nicholas the Mystic managed to temporarily ease the tension, but it became clear to the Byzantine princes that they had to act far more categorically against Bulgaria. According to the Byzantine chronicler John Skylitsa, the empire's regency, headed by Empress Zoya, made peace with the Arabs in order to concentrate all its forces against Bulgaria. At the head of the army stood Leo Phocas, the most influential figure in the military aristocracy. The backbone of his army are 3 of the 4 elite guards corps based in the capital. A grandiose plan was launched to create a broad anti-Bulgarian coalition, which included the Magyars, Serbs, and Pechenegs. Through his agents abroad, the Bulgarian ruler learned of the Roman plans and, combining force and diplomacy, managed to remove the Magyars and Serbs from the equation. At least to some extent, chance also helped Bulgaria when a dispute broke out between Roman Lekapin, the Black Sea Fleet's druggist, and the governor of Chersonesus, John Vogus. Vogus personally leads with him a large number of Pechenegs, whom Lekapin must transfer across the Danube River to attack the Bulgarians in the rear. This operation had to be coordinated with the main Byzantine offensive from the south. Due to the discord that arose, which also unsettled the Pechenegs themselves, the steppe cavalry remained on the northern bank of the Danube and did not take part in the hostilities between Bulgaria and Byzantium. On the other hand, there is evidence that the Bulgarian king managed to attract some of the Pechenegs to his side. Thus, in mid-August, Simeon was left with the primary task of dealing with the main Byzantine forces led by Leo Phocas. The aggression against Bulgaria was carried out by an army numbering about 33,000 people. This number includes both troops from the Balkan and Asia Minor themes, as well as elite units from the Metropolitan Tagma, the Escovites, led by John Grapson, and the Iconiates, led by Ulvian Marl. In addition to these units, the ranks of the Romans also included the famous Armenian infantrymen, led by their master, Melius. The entire army is commanded by the domestic of the schools, Leo Phocas, advised by the patrician Constantine Lips. The Bulgarian army was led personally by the ruler Simeon, assisted by the military commanders Theodore Sigritsa and Marmais. Although it is relatively smaller in number, it is made up of traditional Bulgarian cavalry and infantry units. The Bulgarian army, like the Byzantine one, included both the regular royal contingent and the troops of some of the military districts, the comitats. The Byzantine army advanced along the Black Sea Road, coming from Sozopol towards Mesembria via Anchialus. The Romans set up camp north of Anchialus, while in the meantime the Bulgarian army, led by Simeon, arrived from the north. The Bulgarian ruler managed to take the initiative and occupied the heights around present-day Koblishkovo, while the Byzantines were left to deploy in the plains, occupying a wide front. The cavalry traditionally occupied the flanks of the Byzantine army, while the infantry was placed in the center. Simeon leaves part of his cavalry in tactical reserve in the forests northwest of Koblishkovo. Relying on his numerical superiority, Leo Phocas ordered an offensive with his main forces. The Bulgarians met them, and both armies entered into a fierce clash, mostly in the center of the battle line. The greater number of the Romans gave them an advantage, and they began to push the Bulgarians to the northwest. In this situation, Simeon, relying on the professionalism of his troops, both the princes and those from the comitates, ordered a tactical retreat on his left flank, which should lead to the stretching of the Byzantine ranks. At the same time, Leo Phocas becomes more directly involved in the battle and temporarily loses sight of the overall course of the battle, buoyed by the apparent success of his forces. The Bulgarians began to retreat further and further back, which dragged the Roman center and right flank into the battle and disrupted the integrity of their battle order. Simeon, who apparently remains outside the direct confrontation and maintains full perspective on what is happening, acts with surgical precision. The left flank receives a signal to regroup and counterattack, while on the right flank, the Bulgarian cavalry, aided by the hidden reserve thrown into battle, breaks the Byzantine units and begins to break the enemy line through a large-scale flank attack. Leo Phocas lost the initiative and failed to regroup his units in time. The Byzantines are gripped by panic, and their troops begin to disperse. Some of them fled south to Anchialus, and from there to Apollonia, while the main forces, among which was Leo Phocas himself, headed towards Mesembria. The Byzantines fell into the marshy area around the Achiloi River, where they were overtaken by the Bulgarians. In the ensuing massacre, many Roman soldiers were killed, and others were taken prisoner. Only a few managed to escape in the direction of Mesembria, where they are taken in by the late-arriving Romanus Lacapin. Many prisoners of war also fell into Bulgarian hands. In the course of this bloody battle, King Simeon proved himself not only as a gifted military leader, but also as a brave warrior. He personally participated in the battle, risking his life, and in a fierce hand-to-hand fight, his horse was killed. Simeon achieved a decisive tactical victory over his more numerous opponent, and with one brilliant blow, finally thwarted the plans of the ruling clique in Constantinople. Although the victory had no immediate strategic dimensions, the success of the Bulgarian weapons finally transferred the initiative for conducting offensive operations in Thrace into the hands of Simeon. During the next decade, the Bulgarians were the de facto masters of the Balkans, and chroniclers rightly called the victory at Achiloi the Battle of the Century. The Battle of Achiloi is not just another victory in the long history of medieval Bulgaria. It is the moment when King Simeon proves that he can outwit and defeat one of the most powerful armies of his time. This is the day Bulgaria became the undisputed political and military factor in the Balkans, and the name of Simeon remains forever among the greatest rulers of Europe. Thank you for staying with me until the very end of this story. If you found the video interesting and useful, support the channel with a like, and share the video with friends who love history. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell so you don't miss our next documentary investigations into the greatest battles, lost civilizations, and greatest mysteries of human history. Thank you for your trust and for your time. Until the next story.